very good evening to all the ladies and gentlemen. I would request all of you to please settle down. We are beginning with the beautiful evening. So, once again, a very good evening to all the ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of TimesNow.in, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the TimesNow.in, where we are celebrating Radiant Gujarat Visionary Leaders 2025. So this evening, we come together to celebrate a land of bold dreams, relentless innovation, and pioneering leadership. A land that has truly become the pride of India, our very own Gujarat. This evening is about honoring exceptional leaders, organizations, and change makers who are shaping Gujarat's future across industries, infrastructure, healthcare, innovation, sustainability, and many more. Their vision not only drives growth here at home, but positions Gujarat as a global hub of excellence. This initiative is supported by our esteemed partners, banking partners, ADC Bank, GSC Bank, luxury partner Kia Supernova. And ladies and gentlemen, with this, I, Ankarum, welcome all of you once again with a big round of applause. Now, before we dive into this beautiful event, I would want to test your presence of mind. So, I hope everybody is with me. Perfect. So, when I say clap, you're supposed to clap. When I say snap, you're supposed to snap. When I say tap, you're supposed to show me how do you tap. Oh, yes. Like tap with the legs. Got it right? Let's get started. Clap. Tap. I said tap. Snap. Clap. Tap. 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 Snap. Snap. Clap. Clap. Tap. Snap. Snap. Tap. Tap. Clap. Clap. Tap. Snap. And now with this, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Without much of an ado, I would like to invite on stage for the lamp lighting Honorable Minister Shri Praful Pancharya, Minister for Tribal Development, Primary, Secondary and Adult Education of Gujarat. Ladies and gentlemen, to mark this beautiful evening of this inspiring evening by the lamp lighting of knowledge, wisdom and positivity. Can we have a big round of applause? Along with the Minister, sir, I would also like to invite on stage Mr. Kamal Singhal, MD and CEO at Arvind Smart Spaces Limited. And Ms. Pramila Sinari, General Manager, Sales, Times Network, to join our sir on stage for the lamp lighting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, sir, we would like to shed some light on empowering a healthier tomorrow, Gujarat's vision for transformative healthcare and medical education. It's now time to have a fireside chat. And with that, we'll begin the very first discussion for the evening. I would request both of you to please be with us. Let me talk about Ahmedabad, a city where centuries of heritage blend seamlessly with cutting-edge modernity. is scripting one of the most fascinating urban transformation stories in India. From the timeless charm of its old city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, to the dynamic rise of smart infrastructure and sustainable developments, Ahmedabad's real estate landscape is evolving rapidly. In this fireside chat, we'll explore how visionary planning, investments, and innovation are shaping Ahmedabad's journey, preserving its rich legacy while building a smarter, future-ready city. Along with Minister Sir and Mr. Singhal, to take us through this exciting conversation, please join with me in welcoming the moderator, Kalpana Sharma, editor, Lifestyle and Health, timesnow.in. Mr. Kamal Singhal have over 2 decades of experience across diverse roles within the esteemed Lalbai Group. Mr. Singhal's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Under his inspiring leadership, Arvind Smart Spaces has grown from strength to strength across multiple geographies, including Gujarat, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. From aspirational apartments to luxurious villas, plotted developments, golf courses, and integrated townships, he has masterfully created a diversified portfolio that caters to both mid-income and luxury segments. Recognized as the inspiring CEO of India 2022 at the Economic Times CEO Conclave, Mr. Singhal continues to lead not just with intellect, but with passion and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome this first panel of the evening. Kalpana, over to you.
Hello. Thank you so much. So welcome you all to this very exciting evening, and right now we are ready to begin our first panel, a fireside chat actually, and I'm so happy to be sitting with 2 very established people. So Ahmedabad stands at an exciting crossroads with its rich cultural heritage and a future driven by smart solutions. Let's hear from the 2 panelists today how things are growing and what is the way forward. So, मेरा पहला प्रश्न आपसे होगा. अहमदाबाद भारत का पहला यूनेस्को हेरिटेज सिटी है एंड साथ में उसमें मॉडर्न शहर भी बन रहा है वो. सो आप इस बैलेंस को कैसे देखते हैं?
जब आदरणीय नरेंद्र भाई मोदी सीएम थे, आज वो पीएम बन गए, तब भी मैं उसके साथ विधायक के रूप में काम करता था और उसकी सोच थी. पहला प्रोजेक्ट उन्होंने अहमदाबाद डेवलपमेंट के लिए साबरमती रिवर फ्रंट का जो प्रेजेंटेशन किया था, तभी किसी को सोच भी नहीं थी कि इतना बड़ा और इतना ब्यूटी अहमदाबाद को, पूरा शहर को ब्यूटी बनाएगा. तो ये डेवलपमेंट के लिए पहला जो कदम था वो साबरमती रिवर फ्रंट था. दूसरा जीरो स्लम योजना, यानी कि जो झोपड़ी जौगे में रहते थे उसको ट्रांसफ़र करके फ्लैट और मकान देने का जो वादा किया था वो भी आज चल रहे हैं और शहर में ज़्यादातर कहीं भी झोपड़ी जौगी कम दिखने लगी है. तीसरा था एयरपोर्ट का डेवलपमेंट और अहमदाबाद का जो इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट है, एजुकेशन के बारे में जो सोच थी उसकी, वो आज फलीभूत हुई है और पूरी दुनिया में जो हेरिटेज का जो यूनेस्को में उसका स्थान मिला है, वही अहमदाबाद की आइडेंटिटी है और आज हमें गर्व, गुजरात का ये बेस्ट शहर का हमें गर्व है.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kamal, my question to you would be, you've been at the forefront of developing smart living spaces in Ahmedabad. So how do you see it aligning with the broader vision of a smart city?
Sure. स्मार्ट सिटी जैसा कि सर ने भी बताया, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री का एक बहुत ही फेवरेट और इनिशियल आइडियाज़ में से एक आइडिया है जिसके पीछे काफ़ी कुछ विचार और उसके पीछे काफ़ी कुछ रिसोर्सेज को भी लगाया गया है. Several billion dollars have been allotted to this idea. It's not just an idea which is waiting to be implemented. It is actually happening in front of our eyes and we see transformations happening. Ahmedabad obviously is no exception. In fact, Ahmedabad leads, and many other cities in Gujarat lead in transforming from being traditional cities to smart cities as we know them. स्मार्ट सिटी का जो हमारा या प्रधानमंत्री का या एक जनरल जो आइडिया है, उसके दो तीन मुख्य पहलू हैं. उनमें से एक है कि टेक्नोलॉजी को कैसे यूज़ किया जाए, टेक्नोलॉजी को कैसे इस तरह से यूज़ करें कि उसमें रहने वाले लोगों को फ़ायदा हो, सुविधाएं मिलें, कन्वीनियंस मिले और फंक्शनैलिटी मिले. टू दैट एक्सटेंट आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क हैज़ हैपेंड, and in one or the other ways this is becoming more and more of a thing which is being felt. Planning is another aspect. In fact हमारे यहाँ planning के तो एक दिग्गज बैठे हुए हैं अर्बन प्लानिंग में. तो हम सब जानते हैं कि अहमदाबाद सिटी ने अर्बन प्लानिंग में कमाल किया है. And if planning is one of the important part of being a smart city, I think there is no match to what Ahmedabad has achieved. हमारे पास चंडीगढ़ जैसे शहर हैं जो बने ही प्लान थे, पर एक बार बनने के बाद उन्होंने उसके आसपास क्या हुआ वो हम सब जानते हैं. अहमदाबाद एक वो शहर था जो बहुत ही ट्रेडिशनल था, उसका लेआउट पुराना था, एक बहुत ही प्राचीन शहर है. टू दैट एक्सटेंट उसको एक मॉडर्निटी का टच चाहिए था जो प्लानिंग लेके आया, और इस रूप में हम एक स्मार्टेस्ट सिटी हैं. और जैसा कि सर ने पहले बताया, अहमदाबाद को एक आदत पड़ गई है कि लोगों को स्मार्टनेस का एक भाव देते ही रहते हैं. कभी SRFDL आ गया, कभी अभी बुलेट ट्रेन आ जाएगी, हम ओलंपिक का इंतज़ार कर रहे हैं, गिफ्ट सिटी आ गया. तो कोई ना कोई इनोवेशन हो रही है और लगातार हम स्मार्ट सिटी की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं और ऑलरेडी हैं.
इसी से मेरा दूसरा क्वेश्चन कनेक्टेड है. किसी भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ग्रोथ में इन अ सिटी पब्लिक एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर को साथ में मूव करने की बहुत ज़रूरत है. तो आप क्या देखते हैं, मतलब व्हाट डज एन आइडियल पार्टनरशिप बिटवीन गवर्नमेंट एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर लुक्स टू यू लाइक?
एब्सोल्युटली. आई थिंक स्मार्ट सिटी और ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट के लिए पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. दिस फैक्ट हैज़ बीन रिकग्नाइज्ड बाय आवर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स, बाय आवर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, और in one or the other ways, many times even if it is not said, it is done that way, that there is always a partnership very strong between public and private, both the players. For example, हमारे अहमदाबाद में सिंप्लीफाई करूँ तो जो TP स्कीम है वो क्या है, वो एक पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप है जिसमें प्राइवेट जो ऑनर्स हैं वो लैंड कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, विच इज़ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रिसोर्स इन टाउन प्लानिंग, एंड गवर्नमेंट कम्स विद द रेस्ट ऑफ इट, planning it, doing it, putting infrastructure in place, etc., etc. In that sense, it is nothing short of being a public-private partnership as an example. In fact, हमारा हिंदुस्तान में 5-6 जगह पे डेवलपमेंट चल रहा है, including major cities like Bangalore and Mumbai, etc. I can very clearly assure you all guys that there is nothing like Ahmedabad. अहमदाबाद की जो प्लानिंग है, अहमदाबाद का जो टाउन प्लानिंग स्कीम का जो मॉडल है, आई थिंक दैट इज सेकंड टू नन. इट्स क्लियरली अ लीडर, एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी शुड बी ऑल वेरी प्राउड ऑफ. And public partnership, public-private partnership obviously is driving this growth. And there are many other ways. I mean, there are many other ways that we are doing this. But this is one of the prime example of doing something under public-private partnership where the city is growing in a very rapid way, growing in a very, very planned way, and everybody is contributing on private sector and public sector both.
So how do you see the home buyer, their expectations evolving? What is it that they want today?
Buyers, like anybody, I mean any sector, buyers are evolving, ever evolving. Expectations obviously are going higher and higher and higher. But one problem which is plagued by our sector in that sense has been lack of civil infrastructure and planning, as we just said. Fortunately, Gujarat has been a leader, and we get some of the best planned cities in this country. To that extent, we have been able to fulfill quite a few aspirations that the buyers have. Today, the buyers need technology, they need smart cities, as we just said, including amenities, including the transportation and stuff like that. I think smart cities is solving all these problems, and customer expectations are always growing as usual.
Thank you so much. Before we end this fireside chat, for your buyers, what would you like to say, since you're working across India? Why Gujarat?
Gujarat, I think I just said this is one of the finest cities, one of the finest people, one of the finest infrastructure. You can't expect more than what Gujarat offers, what Ahmedabad in specific offers. So come, buy, invest. in houses. This is the best time from affordability indexation point of view and otherwise. This is the time to come invest in Gujarat, invest in Ahmedabad, buy homes in Ahmedabad. Most welcome, and this is the right time to do all that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the wonderful discussion. I would request our Honorable Minister to please stay back on stage along with our moderator, Kalpana. So, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to yet another panel discussion of the evening, which is on education. Education has always been the foundation of progress, and Gujarat is rapidly emerging as a hub for world-class universities and institutions that are shaping the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. With a strong focus on global standards, research excellence, and inclusive access to quality education, Gujarat is creating a knowledge-driven economy ready to compete on the world stage. In this session, we'll explore how expanding premier educational institutions can power Gujarat's future growth, drive innovation, and build a skilled future-ready workforce. Joining us on the stage are Dr. Ritu Saxena, who is leading the academic activities at SAL Education Campus, with a doctorate in English literature and degree in public administration from USA. Dr. Ritu Saxena has dabbled in multiple sectors within higher education and administration during her expansive experience of over 30 years. She has also been involved in different academic and administrative roles, ranging from working and teaching at government institutions to governing grant-in-aid colleges to establishing private college campuses in her capacity as principal. She has authored books and published research articles at both national and international platforms. While she enjoys bringing innovative solutions and implementing new advancements for the betterment of the organizations, she is extremely passionate about her field and believes firmly that the core of the organization are the students. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all join in with me in welcoming Dr. Ritu Saxena. Introducing you all to Mrs. Radhika Bhandari, Director, Western India Institute of Aeronautics. Radhika Bhandari is a young aviation enthusiast and has been exposed to aviation since childhood from her father, Dr. Nagesh Bhandari. With her innately inquisitive nature, she did her engineering in metallurgy, an area where usually males were in majority. Ms. Bhandari is a big advocate of multidisciplinary skills, and her upbringing has been done in manner wherein she has been encouraged to pursue multiple skills in a balanced manner. Radhika Bhandari completed her MSc in Management from University of Warwick, UK, January in 2019, and BE in Metallurgical Engineering from Indus Institute of Technology, Engineering, Ahmedabad in July 2014. Let us all put our hands together with me in welcoming Radhika Bhandari. Introducing you all to our next speaker, Dr. Nilesh K. Modi, Professor and Director, School of Computer Science, Director, Center for Internal Quality Assurance, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. And next speaker of the evening would be Dr. Soham Parmar, Director, Shubham Group of Institutions. Shubham Group of Institution offers a diverse range of educational programs, particularly in the fields of nursing, law, physiotherapy. All these programs are approved by the government of Gujarat and are affiliated with Gujarat University. Affiliated institutions and healthcare facilities: Shubham Multi-Speciality Hospital, Kasturba Gandhi Physiotherapy Center. These healthcare centers provide practical exposure and training for students in fields such as physiotherapy, offering them hands-on experience in a real-world medical environment. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all clap for all the speakers of the evening. Over to you, Kalpana.
Thank you so much. So we just ended our conversation about real estate, and Gujarat, as we know, is not just a powerhouse in terms of industrial growth, but as in education as well. So, सर मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे होगा, देश में 34 इयर्स के बाद नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई है, आप उसका अडेप्टेशन और मतलब आपको क्या लगता है किस तरीके से इट्स गोइंग इन द सिटी?
देश में पहली बार 1985 में संसद में एक बार शिक्षा बारे में सोचा गया था। बाद में नरेंद्र भाई ने 2020 में एनईपी लागू करने के लिए संसद में पेश किया और भारत में कई तज्ञों के पास आइडिया और एजुकेशन की थियरी सब कुछ मंगाकर उन्होंने ये एनईपी बनाई। आज मुझे गर्व है कि गुजरात में एनईपी का अमलीकरण में भारत में सबसे आगे है। मैं आपको 96,000 स्मार्ट क्लास हमने स्कूलों में लोकार्पण कर दिया है। 21,000 कंप्यूटर लैब्स गांव की स्कूल में लोकार्पण कर दिए। हमारा जो प्रोजेक्ट है रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल यानी कि पीपीपी मॉडल पर, जो कई लोगों को ये पता नहीं कि एक गुजरात में 1 लाख बच्चों को स्टैंडर्ड 6 लेकर 12 तक मुफ्त में शिक्षा दी जाएगी। इसमें ये प्रोजेक्ट में आज हमारी 50 स्कूल शुरू हो चुकी है, जहाँ एक बच्चे एडमिशन स्टैंडर्ड 6 में लेते हैं तो 12 तक एक बच्चे की 16,000 रुपीज जो फीस है वो राज्य सरकार पे करती है। आज हमें गर्व है कि ट्राइबल में भी 25 ऐसी रेसिडेंशियल स्कूल बनाने के लिए पीपीपी मॉडल पर गवर्नमेंट ने तय किया और शुरू भी हो गई। तो मेरे ख्याल से बेसिक नीड है कि एनईपी अमलीकरण के पहले जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट बहुत जरूरी था वो आज हम कर रहे हैं। और एसएस और सर्व शिक्षा अभियान के माध्यम से गांव की स्कूल आज नई बन रही है। हमें ये भी गर्व है कि एक गुजरात में जब नरेंद्र भाई थे तब 14 यूनिवर्सिटी थी, आज 109 यूनिवर्सिटी गुजरात में। करीब 6,000 से अधिक स्टूडेंट्स विदेश के गुजरात में स्टडी कर रहे हैं। और कॉमन एक्ट जो एनईपी लागू करने के लिए जो हमारा एक विडम्बना प्रॉब्लम था कि सभी यूनिवर्सिटी का एक कॉमन एक्ट होना चाहिए, वो हमने विधानसभा में विधेयक पसार करके वो कॉमन एक्ट कर दिया। नेक भी आज फर्जियात स्कूल कॉलेज में लागू करने के लिए हमारी टीम काम कर रही है। और सभी यूनिवर्सिटी का कॉमन एंट्रेंस के लिए एडमिशन के लिए जिकास जो हमारा पोर्टल है वो काफ़ी सक्सेस हुआ। एक बच्चा कोई एक बार ही अपना नामांकन वो पोर्टल पर करेगा और कहीं जो स्कूल कॉलेज में उसका मेरिट के आधार पर उसका एडमिशन हो सकता है। तो आज गुजरात में एजुकेशन के लिए हायर प्राइमरी माध्यमिक और उच्च माध्यमिक सभी डिपार्टमेंट अच्छी तरह काम कर रहे हैं। जो पहला बाल मंदिर से लेकर 12th तक जो एनईपी का नया प्रोग्राम आया, बैगलेस और वोकेशनल एजुकेशन, सभी का कई स्कूलों में ट्राई शुरू कर दिया है।
Thank you, sir. Sound very interesting. Dr. Ritu, my next question would be for you. Since there's so much development happening, I'm sure students today expect a lot of stuff from universities and institutes. So how are you adapting to these new teaching and in terms of teaching and curriculum, how are you adapting to these changes and expectations?
Good evening to everybody. We all know since COVID came, we are living in times when we have an age of very much asynchronous learning, teaching going on. And so the traditional modes of learning and teaching, like the blackboard and the chalk method of teaching or the rote memorization method of learning, they are no longer sufficient to give us the skilled workforce that is required in today's society. So, at the outset, definitely students are studying to procure a degree, but on the long term, they definitely want to they realize the demands of the workforce. They realize the increasing competition that is existing, and they also want to be prepared to be able to adapt themselves to this changing scenario. So definitely the institutions also have to change their teaching methodology, and they have to align themselves to the needs of the students. I mean, that's the need of the hour, right? So first and foremost, I believe it's technology, teaching teaching through technology and also teaching them the concepts of technology, both the things, right? So you have integrated courses like artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, I mean, that's again the need of the day, so you have integrated these courses into the curriculum. At the same time, you are also teaching them through these, because you have smart classes, as just spoke about, you need those. So one is that. Second is teaching them through life lessons. I mean, you just can't be sitting in the classroom detached from the outside world. You need to teach them through case studies. You need to teach them through short-term courses. Like recently, we finished a course on cyber defense training, in partnership with an external agency, This is nothing to do with the curriculum. This is a course which is a short-term course. So you need to introduce those kind of things.
That's very
So,
interesting, because I was
yeah.
going to ask you that,
Yeah.
with the advent of technology,
Mhm.
AI, are we
Mhm.
also preparing our
Mhm.
kids to,
Yeah,
combat
yeah.
the negative effects
That's
of
very
it?
true. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Mr. Nilesh, my next question would be to you. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar University, Open University, is leading in distance and digital education. How are you innovating for inclusivity and reach?
Yeah, good evening, respected sir, and all the dignitaries on the dais and of the dais. Actually, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University is the only university having A double plus grade from NEC. That is just because of its innovative approach. And one of the most important things I can highlight is we are contributing majorly in the gross enrollment ratio of the country as well as of the state. Every year we are enrolling more than 1 lakh students at our university. We are offering 111 programs through distance learning mode and 11 programs through online mode. So basically, university has integrated all its facilities for the learners, for the students, by digitizing all all the applications. So from admission to convocation, admission to awarding the degree, all the things and all the facilities are available online. So we have implemented our own ERP, that is educational ERP named Jyotirmay. Now we have migrated from Jyotirmay to Samarth portal that has been developed by Ministry of Education, Government of India. And we have provided various e-learning platforms, like we are having our own MOOC platform, that is Omkari. We are offering content through Swadhyay TV, that is internet-based TV, Swadhyay Radio. We have our own educational channel that has been provided by Government of Gujarat, that is Vande Gujarat channel number 16. We are offering learning through our own community radio, that is 90.0 FM. Hello, Bau. So we have integrated all our facilities by digitizing every aspects of the things, and we are reaching out to more than 5 lakh students through our 300 and plus study centers and 8 regional centers all across Gujarat. So this is how exactly we are putting lots of efforts to reach out to the learners. Thank you.
That's interesting. Radhika, my next question would be to you. A very interesting field you are in, I must say. What has been the contribution of women, according to you, in the field of aviation, both historically and in the present day? And how do you see India emerging as a talent hub for this field?
Thank you for asking a very important question and stressing on women in aviation. It has been rightly said that women are the backbone of any nation. I feel proud to say that India's first woman pilot was Sarla Thakral, who actually flew the first plane in 1936, and she also flew a small plane aircraft solo. It is a very proud moment for us to recognize the fact that India has the highest number of female commercial pilots, which is 15%. And this is the highest number in the entire world as compared to any country. The global average is only 5%, considering all the developing countries such as US, UK, Canada, Germany, etc. So I think it is a proud moment for India that we are way ahead in this highly technical field. I would also like to highlight that in the Asia Pacific region, which also consists of India, we have the highest female aircraft maintenance engineers, and the percentage is 4.4%, and the global average is only 3%. So this is a really proud moment for us. This definitely showcases how women are leading in highly technical fields. And very interestingly, ITA, which is International Air Transport Association, also states that every aviation company should have at least 25% working in it. So we're proud to say that at Western India Institute of Aeronautics, we have a really good high number of girls engineers pursuing their aircraft maintenance engineering, aerospace, aeronautical. In the last 3 years, we've risen from about 10.5% to 36%, and we hope that we can keep on increasing this number. With this intention, I got into the field and contribute my energy so that we can keep taking these numbers higher and higher in each and every field, and not just pilot training. So that is a very big motivation for me to continue and contributing. And it is also very interesting to see that India is the third largest civil aviation domestic market. And more youngsters are entering into this field and contributing and making their mark. And we have seen in 2017, 4.1 billion passengers were traveling by air. This statistic is only expected to grow to 10 billion by 2040. We are seeing that India is now buying so many new aircrafts. At least 1,000 are now in the pipeline by all the leading airlines that we have in India. So I think the aviation boom has not even reached its peak in India. We are definitely going to grow a lot. We need a lot of aviation manpower and a lot of women in the field of aviation. And very interestingly, we should also understand that how complex this field is. If we look at a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, there are 8 million codes of softwares which a student needs to understand. In F-35 military aircraft, we need to understand 22 million lines of code of software. So I think the biggest aspect that we need to look at is, it is not about human exploitation anymore, but it is about recognizing human relevance to the social and economic system of this society. And just to conclude, one line, we have previously seen that machines were not accurate up to 80%, and human accuracy was only 20%, but now this statistic has reversed. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Sohn, my last question would be to you that, your university, your group of institutions, they're rooted in healthcare education. What challenges and opportunities do you see in building a pipeline of skilled people in that area?
So, good afternoon to good evening to everyone. Thank you for welcoming me to the stage. Being a doctor myself, I feel there is a certain need of experience and well-trained staff in healthcare professional, because in healthcare profession the range of error is very less, because आप अपने प्रोफेशन में जिनके साथ काम कर रहे हो वो आप इंसानियत के साथ काम कर रहे हो. You cannot afford a error in the profession. So that is the motive behind our institution. not only to well educate the students, but I feel they should be well trained also. Hence, we are training our students in Asia's largest hospital, that is Civil Hospital. And we have been running this institution since last 15 years. And many of our students have been abroad, and many of our students are working in government sector also. So hence, yeah, this is the motto behind our institution. Secondly, I feel, as my co-panelist said, that women are the backbone of the society. But I feel women are also the backbone of our healthcare profession, because if we see 70 to 80% of nurses are female these days. But unfortunately, we have seen, especially in the lower economic areas or tribal areas, many people are still very not very comfortable sending their children to colleges in cities and stuff. So we also think that educating one student is also we are inspiring 10 others to educate them, because if we see and they see that one student is giving her life to healthcare professional, this might inspire other children to do well and maybe join the healthcare profession. Thank you.
Right, absolutely. And just before we wrap up, I would like any one of you to tell me that, when it comes to, we spoke something similar in the real estate panel also, but when it comes to education, why should someone choose Gujarat?
Actually, Gujarat is the best place, as government of Gujarat has rightly promoted Study in Gujarat initiative, wherein under various categories, like in the conventional mode of education, plenty of opportunities are available in different courses like engineering, medical, as well as conventional courses. Same way in the distance learning mode, the government is promoting various initiatives and providing various opportunities to the university, just like startup and innovation to all the university, and that is not there in other countries, in other states even. In fact, government is promoting online education, and various other initiatives have been carried out by under the aegis of KCG Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat. So this is how exactly majority of the state universities are welcoming students all across India as well as across the globe. Thank you.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
I mean, what he said is right. One major thing what Gujarat offers is a very safe and a peaceful environment to live in, So, I mean, you have GIFT City, you have iHub, you have Gujarat of government has partners with international universities, everything. That's very true. But people can actually come and have their careers and lead a very peaceful and a safe life over here. So, that's, I think.
Thank you.
I would like to add last thing. I really agree with the safety factor. But other than that, Gujarat has a very proactive government which helps in educating the students. Be it the scholarships or the free ship cards for the students, or be it the hostels for the students, or the PMJ facility for the patients. So yeah,
Clearly it's the vision that matters.
Just one last liner. It's because of the state of Gujarat that we have been able to contribute so many women in aviation. So it is because of the state. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I would like to second you, ma'am, in Gujarat being really safe for everybody. Thank you for the wonderful discussion. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I would request our minister to please stay back on stage. So before we move ahead, we are truly grateful to our esteemed luxury partners, Supernova Kia, for being with us this evening. Supernova Kia has 4 showrooms located at SG Highway, Nicole, Bhopal and Salund. Kia's recent expansion into electric vehicles with the EV6 and EV9 is a significant step in the direction. The Supernova electrifying Kia EV6, which is available on display. I would request all of you to please take your test drive now. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, for the further panel discussion, we would like to have upon stage our Honorable Minister of State, State of Gujarat, Parliamentary Affairs, Primary, Secondary, and Adult Education. Along with that, joining us on stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, this panel discussion is all about as Gujarat charts its path towards 2047, marking 100 years of India's independence, building a future-ready, inclusive healthcare ecosystem is more critical than ever. From cutting-edge medical innovations to robust healthcare infrastructure and a focus on holistic well-being, Gujarat is poised to set new benchmarks in making quality healthcare accessible to all of us out here, rural and urban, rich and underserved alike. In this session, we'll explore how innovation, collaboration, and policy support can reimagine healthcare delivery and strengthen Gujarat's vision for a healthier and more resilient future. Joining us on stage are Dr. Shardul Chaurasia, COO, Sal Hospital and Medical Institute. Dr. Shardul played a pivotal role in shaping the operational excellence and strategic direction in the healthcare institutions. Multi-super specialty hospital for more than 15 years now. With a remarkable background in healthcare management and a deep commitment to patient-centered care, Dr. Shardul has been instrumental in driving efficiency, innovation and quality across all aspects of hospital operations. Under his leadership, multi-speciality, super specialty hospital has not only enhanced clinical outcomes but also elevated patient experience, making it a benchmark for excellence in the healthcare sector. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Dr. Shardul. Introducing you all to Dr. Twinkle Patel, Director, Motherhood, Women's and Childcare Hospital, a doctor, social entrepreneur, health and social awareness speaker, YI Health Chair Ahmedabad, nominated as panel member for Pharma and Healthcare for Gujarat State CII 2025-26. A doctor, MBA in Healthcare Management from IIM Ahmedabad, MD Motherhood Hospital and Midas Touch Cosmetic and Skin Care Center, associate and working for Say No to Drugs campaign with NCB Gujarat since 10 years. Past President of Western Region Bharatiya Tibet Samnavay Sangh, YI Health Ahmedabad Chair, GCCI Corporate Social Responsibility Committee, Women Sexual Harassment and Social Wellness Committee at 15 BRD Vadasar, Indian Air Force Station. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody, let us all welcome Dr. Twinkle Patel. Introducing you all to Dr. Kaushal Anand, Director, Shailya Hospital. He is the Director and Head at the Department of Surgical, Gastroenterology, HPB and GI Cancer Surgery at Shailya Hospital in Ahmedabad. He is also a robotic surgeon. Dr. Anand is a renowned surgical gastroenterologist and HPB surgeon with 20 plus years of experience. Has performed over 6,000 successful surgeries. He has introduced best surgical technology in his hospital, robotic surgical system used for advanced abdominal surgeries and first ever artificial intelligence patient bed, his specialty. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in welcoming Dr. Shardul. So Kalpana, over to you.
Thank you so much. India at 2047 is a vision for a Viksit Bharat. And Gujarat is uniquely positioned to be a healthcare innovation engine. And we have a very interesting panel here today. So, sir, I will start with you again. And, sir, 2047 तक हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के लिए गुजरात गवर्नमेंट क्या स्टेप्स ले रही है और आप क्या डेवलपमेंट्स देख रहे हैं?
गुजरात में मेडिकल क्षेत्र में जो प्रगति करने के लिए तब नरेंद्र भाई ने जो रोड मैप दिया था, आज 2001 से 2025 तक, पहली बात तो मैं बताऊं, पहले सिर्फ 9 मेडिकल कॉलेज थी, 9, आज 42 मेडिकल कॉलेज गुजरात में है। और हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक मेडिकल कॉलेज होना चाहिए। जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में नहीं है उसमें भी प्लानिंग कर दिया है और आने वाले दिनों में वहाँ मेडिकल कॉलेज शुरू होने वाली है। नीति आयोग के अनुसार एसडीजी इंडेक्स में गुजरात का फर्स्ट रैंकिंग है, जो मेडिकल सुविधा देने में गुजरात भारत में नंबर 1 है। अंधत्व निवारण के लिए गुजरात भी फर्स्ट है इंडिया में। तो आज ये पूरा मिलकर जो योजनाएं है मेडिकल क्षेत्र में, जो 108 पहली बार गुजरात में शुरू हुआ था, तब से आज तक 16 मिनट एवरेज समय में पेशेंट के पास हमारी 108 एम्बुलेंस पहुंच गई। टोटल एवरेज बनाया पूरा एम्बुलेंस शुरू होने के बाद आज तक। यूएन मेहता कार्डियक हॉस्पिटल में 24 हार्ट ट्रांसप्लांट किया है, और अन्य सूरत शहर में भी हैंड ट्रांसप्लांट भी शुरू हो चुके हैं। गुजरात में अहमदाबाद किडनी हॉस्पिटल इतना जो उसमें ट्रांसप्लांट की संख्या है वो पूरा एशिया में सबसे ज़्यादा अहमदाबाद की जो किडनी हॉस्पिटल में ट्रांसप्लांट होता है। कभी भी हम अहमदाबाद गुजरात में रहते हैं, लेकिन ये पता नहीं होता है कि हमारे अहमदाबाद में इतना ज़्यादा ट्रांसप्लांट होता है। 270 जो डायलिसिस सेंटर है वो विना मूल्य गरीब पेशेंट को वहाँ फ्री सारवार दी जाती है। डायलिसिस के बाद प्रेशर और डायबिटीज़ की दवाएं सभी हमारे पीएचसी सेंटर और सीएचसी सेंटर में मुफ्त में दी जाती है। पीएमवाई जय योजना में आज गुजरात में जो नरेंद्र भाई ने योजना पूरा भारत में की है, उसमें 5 लाख तक का पेशेंट को विना मूल्य चार्ज होता है। तो आज गुजरात में 10 लाख तक 5 लाख गुजरात गवर्नमेंट देती है। तो कहीं गरीब पेशेंट को फ्री में सारवार होती, जो गंभीर बीमारी होती, लिवर ट्रांसप्लांट, हार्ट और किडनी वगैरह जैसे कुछ होते, तो उसमें पेशेंट को मुफ्त में इलाज होता है। आज एजुकेशन के बारे में भी जो प्री मेडिकल कॉलेज का है, डेंटिस्ट है, तो सभी कॉलेज और नर्सिंग कॉलेज भी आज शुरू हो चुकी है, और टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ दुनिया के साथ कदम मिलाने के लिए गुजरात ने पहल की है। और अभी जो 42 मेडिकल कॉलेज है, इससे ज़्यादा 50 तक ले जाने का हमारा 3-5 साल में लक्ष्य है, तो वो पूरा होगा।
Wow, this deserves an applause. Dr. Twinkle, it's known that India deals with a very high infant mortality rate, mother's health, and we are suffering on that side. So, how do you envision the maternal and child healthcare landscape evolving in Gujarat by 2047?
Yes. First of all, good evening all. My co-panelist sir. So जैसे आपने बोला कि maternal mortality और infernal mortality rate. So if we talk about before 25 years ago or 20 years ago, so yes, it was there. But last couple of years के जो हम data देखे, around 2000, 2020 या 2017, so it has been reduced more than around 55% or around 60%. और उसमें भी the Gujarat is leading for MMR or infant mortality rate में. So obviously there are so many government scheme in CHC, PHC centers and rural centers. There are midwifery, nurses, educated paramedical staffs are there. So during the time of delivery or pre time of delivery, so they are there to counsel them to avoid the risk of the pregnancy or during the high risk pregnancy. सो पहले जो होता था कि भाई नॉन मेडिकल पर्सनस के साथ गांव के लोग जाते थे डिलीवरी में. सो देर आर हाईएस्ट चांसेस विदाउट एनी डायग्नोसिस, जस्ट दे गो एंड दे एडमिट द पेशेंट. सो इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट. देर इज़ अवेयरनेस राइट नाउ गोइंग ऑन increasingly for the maternal health during the time of delivery, and the government has doing a lot, and also doctors, gynec fraternity and paramedical staff has trained a lot. So it has been drastically reduced.
Thank you. Dr. Shardul, I wanted to understand that, healthcare somehow is moving from treatment to prevention. What is your idea about it?
First of all, good evening to everyone who is present here. So when we talk about the prevention for any diseases and when we look forward, the healthcare infrastructure and system process are going on in the state of Gujarat, we would like to again appreciate, like Sir said, before 20 years since 2000, and we'll see the progress of the state government in especially in the healthcare department. All credit goes to our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi Sahab. He has developed the Apex Institute like UN Mehta, IKD or GCRI and other civil hospital, being the largest government hospital of Asia. We are providing the services. And another part of the private sector, I would like to speak about our chairman and managing director, Shri Rajendra Bhai Saab from the Sal Hospital. His vision has developed the corporate sector of healthcare in Gujarat, being the first corporate hospital, a Sal Hospital of Gujarat, and bringing all the technologies and infrastructure to the people who are actually requirement of the private treatment. Now looking toward the prevention of the diseases, now we are in 2025, we are talking about the prevention. It's a need of an hour right now. Prevention in all aspects, be it cardiology, oncology, gastroenterology or any other specialities. The lifestyle of the people are seeing it nowadays, more of the digital. So when we see the teenage group or the younger children spending more time on the television, on the screens and not focusing on the developing or changing their behavior, lifestyle and other modalities like risk factors. When we talk about the risk factors, smoking, alcohol, illicit drug use, tobacco, Gujarat being the hub of the tobacco users, and oncology is a new cardiology in Gujarat because the number of cancer patients are increasing. So prevention is very important. When we talk prevention in the healthcare language, there are three kinds of prevention. Primary prevention, we have to prevent the disease before it occurs. So like I said, the awareness should be there. We have to develop the awareness programs, especially in the schools and colleges, and sir can help with that to develop such programs. Secondary prevention is to early diagnosis and getting right treatment at the right time. And tertiary means when the disease is developed, treatment has been given, and how we prevent the recurrence of that disease. So these three aspects we have to now think about it. Now with the availability of technology, artificial intelligence or digital health, we can do the prevention better. We can develop the AI vans which can go to the rural areas or semi-urban areas and detect the disease. They do the imaging. Even nowadays, the latest machine can do the analysis of the images by itself and give the reports right away. And that reports can be, analyzed and send it to the distance, like Apex Institute or maybe the private institute, where the digital and the telecommunication can be established and prevention can be better. When we talk about down the line of the healthcare, like accessibility and affordability, government has done their job of the affordability and private sectors are doing their job for the accessibility. So looking forward to future of the healthcare in Gujarat, and I'm sure we can do it with the help of the government and the private sector, that none of the citizen of Gujarat has to travel more than 2 kilometers to get the accessible and affordable medical care. And this is, I think, summarize of my vision for the healthcare. Thank you, everyone.
In fact, I would like to add that before coming on stage, sir was telling me that, there are medications that are given for free for heart and diabetes. So that's a brilliant initiative by the government.
So being in the healthcare department, and like sir said, 42 medical colleges are there. When I took admission in MBBS, only about 10 or 11 medical colleges were there. And so nowadays it is very easy to get a medical education, and especially the medicine. I think none of the state has done so far like Gujarat. I think all credit goes to Shri Narendra Modi. Not only affordable medicines, even implant products are controlled by the government as far as the prices are, be it a cardiac stent or joint implant or any other implants like cataract. All these are being controlled in last 20 years, and which is all benefit goes to the each and every citizen of India. I mean, this prices control from the government is passed on to the citizen, and I think all credit goes to the vision of only one person in India.
Lovely. Dr. Kaushal, I would like to ask you that, what are the innovations that you feel in healthcare infrastructure that can be the game changer?
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And see, what we are talking right now is what is available and what we are seeing in the world right now. So, important thing is that technology has changed the healthcare system. I'm a surgeon, so every aspect of a surgical treatment or medical treatment has been changed with the technology. So, one thing is a robotic treatment, which is a robotic surgery that has been come. So let me tell you, the robotics innovation was done by NASA. It was for the telesurgical system. So now, because ethical issues, NASA has to postpone this thing, and then it is taken into the surgical field. So robotic system, nowadays we have done a first tele-robotic surgery from sitting a surgeon. I'm sitting into the Delhi and I'm operating a patient into the Bangalore, a cancer surgery. So same thing. So with this tele-robotic surgery, what will happen? A, 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 a patient has a rare disease or rare surgery, which is required a expert, and that expert is sitting in the US or somewhere in the Japan. So we can do a telesurgery. He can sitting over there. He can perform surgery over there. So that is one thing which is going to change the scenario, the global platform. So access will be to the global. So any surgeon from anywhere in the world can operate at any of the patients. So that is one thing which is going to happen. One. Second is artificial intelligence. That what Dr. Shardul has said. So artificial intelligence is what important, because in initial studies when we were students, we used to mug up so many books, and after that we have to summarize, and when we have to do logic. So artificial intelligence will change all this thing. Important thing which is a screening part. So in a rural area, we don't have a such good doctors over there who can detect or diagnose the disease early. So many times we see the CT scan, but the reports are not proper. There is a disease is seen over there in the CT scan. I can see it, but it is not been reported. That's why patient has been not treated for that disease. So that is also with the artificial intelligence. Now we see artificial intelligence is evolving, but there are so many loopholes are there. That is because we are using right now digital computer. Now there is a quantum computer. There is the next generation, which is a quantum computer, and the quantum computer will change whole scenario in the all the health sector, because it will within minutes, it will change all the diameters, and everyone will be having the disease diagnosis. All this. Only thing which is we need a good surgeons or good doctors who know one. It's a clinical. So examination and clinical won't go away. Second thing, ethicality. See, so where ethics, we have to treat them the ethics value, because in any sector it can be okay, but in the health sector you cannot give away the ethics. And third things, we have to pass on the legacy that we are humans. The technology will be there. Technology cannot come over the humans. We have to use the technology for the best of our knowledge.
Absolutely well said. Technology cannot replace humans, definitely not doctors. So, how do you see again, just stretching this point, that how public and private sector can come together and make a change in this space?
See, important things, robotic system, which was from the intuitive, with those from the US, which was very expensive. Now we have an Indian robotic system, SSI Mantra, which has transformed the life because it is easy to use. It is a similar efficacy and this thing. So now Indian make our healthcare system, and because of the Make in India project, this is a Make in India, and it is now in the NASDAQ also. So it's the same quality, we can get it and we can introduce this thing. So that can helps the change. So the new education system, where the juniors in all the government hospitals with the affiliated colleges, they will have these technologies. So next generation will straight away learn the new technologies. And so private hospitals like government, Dr. Sare says, the kidney hospital, it is almost a semi private hospitals, because it's the doctors who are there, they are world renowned doctors and they are using the technologies. So now private hospitals which have a very expensive, because of the expensive instrumentation and technology is there, so expense is there, but that gives us something excellent results, and that is very required, because once the results has been achieved, the people who are not there, they will try to achieve that results. So overall, gradually, the next generation or other smaller hospital will achieve the good results. So competition should be healthy, and it has to be come from this thing. So innovation expenses will be there, but the government has to take some experts from the private sector who can help them to develop these departments. That's what I understand.
Dr. Twinkle, would you like to add something in terms of in your area?
I
of
would like to add in your previous questions. The future is, so we should early diagnosis for any disease, and we should more focus on the preventive cares, whether it is maternal health, infant health, or any adult health. So we can add the technology like sonography, which is we can include in the remote area or tribal area. So we can reduce the risk of high risk pregnancy and all this. And also we can add this, already this is there for laparoscopy system, endoscopy system is there. And 4K 3D Rubina S1 has introduced in Gujarat. And we are the second one in Gujarat. And almost we have already launched the S series 18 sonography system, which is more precise to diagnosis any anomalies in infant. So we can reduce that rate of abortions or the deformities in kids after birth. And also I would like to add one bold idea as a mother, as a woman. So we should focus on the women health, and everybody is focusing, because once a healthy woman makes a healthy society, and they can give the healthy birth. And as per the era what we are living, this is a tremendous stress, mental health, and substance abuse. So we have to control on this for our next future generations. So let's build a healthy society, and we have to take a stand together for this. So this is the preventive step. We need to focus on the wellness path. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I want to add one thing, which is everybody likes to know, that we need lots of organs. We are now have a kidney failures, liver failures, everything, even non-alcoholic. Because of the diabetes, we are having lots of chronic liver failure. So we have a organ shortage will be there. So now, actually, in a international level, we have a kind of a 3D printing of the organ is there. It's already been started. So what you have to do, you have to just order your organ, and it will in the laboratory, they will 3D print your organ, and surgeon will replace into this thing. So this is the next generation thing will be happening.
Wow. We are looking forward to a healthy future together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the entire panel. I would request our Honorable Minister to please stay back on stage. I would request the Honorable Minister to please stay back on the stage. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, we will move ahead, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time to be truly grateful for our esteemed luxury partner, Supernova Kia, for being with us this evening. Supernova Kia has 4 showrooms at SG Highway, Nicole, Bhopal and Sanand. Kia's recent expansion into electric vehicles with the EV6 and EV9 is a significant step in that direction. The Supernova electrifying Kia EV6, which is available on display, I would request all of you to please book your test drives now. We would love to thank all of our banking partners, ADC Bank, GSC Bank, So, ladies and gentlemen, what a splendid evening this has been so far. I would request all of you to please have a big, big round of applause for the splendid evening. So, can you guess what part are we moving on to next? Any guesses? This definitely has to be one of the most awaited parts of the evening. I would request all of you to please guess which part are we moving on to next? Oh yes, you heard it right, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, it's now time for one of the most awaited moments of the evening, the felicitation ceremony. Today, we celebrate those whose vision, dedication, and leadership have not only contributed to Gujarat's growth story, but have also inspired countless others to dream bigger and achieve more. So we have a very special guest of the evening with us. I would request Mahima Chaudhary to join us on the stage, a beloved actress who has graced Indian cinema with memorable performances and continues to inspire with her journey both on and off screen. We are so delighted to have you with us, ma'am. You look beautiful. I would request Pramila to please come upon the stage and present a bouquet to our beautiful lady here. Can we have a big, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, Pramila. Thank you, Pramila. So, ladies and gentlemen, by this we'll get started with our felicitation ceremony. The very first award title is Excellence in Technical Education, and the winner's name is SAL Education Campus. I would request Dr. Ritu Saxena, Associate Director, SAL Education Campus, to please come here and receive the award. Can we have a big round of applause for the winner, everybody? Congratulations. Heartiest congratulations to the entire team. Ladies and gentlemen, may we have a big, big round of applause for our winning team here. Congratulations to SAL Education Campus for winning Excellence in Technical Education. Ma'am, we really loved your insights about the education and how Gujarat is so safe for every one of us out here. Thank you. Introducing you all to our next title of the evening, Excellence in Aviation Education, and it goes to none other than Indus University, ladies and gentlemen. Let us all congratulate Ms. Radhika Bandari, Director, Western India Institute of Aeronautics. Can we please put our hands together? Congratulations. Before we move on to the next award category, I would request all of you to please raise your left hand. Could you please raise your left hand? Left hand. Even the ones who are lefty are supposed to raise their left hands. Could you also please raise your right hand? And could you please bash them together? Oh, so this is how we clap, and this is how we're going to do it for the rest of the evening, guys, because all of them has worked so hard to achieve this. So thank you so much. Introducing you all to our next award category, Pioneer Open Education University in Gujarat. And let us congratulate Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University with a big round of applause. Dr. Nilesh K. Modi, Professor and Director, School of Computer Science, Director, Center for Internal Quality Assurance, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. Congratulations to the entire team. Thank you, everybody. Next category for the evening is... So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing you all to the next category of the evening, Leading University in Innovation and Technology. Let us all congratulate Indus University once again, Ms. Radhika Bandari, Director, Western India Institute of Aeronautics. Congratulations. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Nursing, Physiotherapy and Law Education. Let us all congratulate Shubham Group of Institutions, Dr. Prahlad Parmar, Chairman, Mrs. Devi Bain Parmar, Owner, Director, Dr. Soham Parmar, Director, and Dr. Angel Chabra. With a big, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Cardio and Onco Hospital. Let us congratulate Sal Hospital, everybody. Dr. Shardul Chaurasia, the COO. Can we please have you receive the award, sir? Congratulations to the entire team of Sal Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all have a big round of applause. Next category for the evening is Best Women's Hospital, and it goes to Motherhood Women's and Child Care Hospital. Can we have Dr. Twinkle Patel, the director, to receive the award? Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Robotic, Gastrointestinal and HPB Cancer Surgery, and it goes to Shailya Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Director Dr. Kaushal Anand with a big round of applause. Congratulations to Shailya Hospital. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Cosmetic Surgery, and it goes to Midas Touch Cosmetic Surgery and Skin Care Center. Let us all congratulate the director, Dr. Twinkle Patel. With a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Congratulations, ma'am. Next category for the evening is Outstanding Contribution to Indian Real Estate, and it goes to none other than Sun Builders. Let us congratulate the director, Mr. Narendra Patel. Congratulations, sir. So the next category for the evening is Excellence Residential Luxury Sky Villa, and it goes to none other than Goyal and Company. Let us congratulate Marketing and Branding Executive, Miss Beenal Surani. With a big round of applause, people. Congratulations to Goyal and Company. Next category is Outstanding Developer of the Year, and it goes to IG Group. Let us all congratulate the founder and managing director, Mr. Lalit Parihar. Next category for the evening is Visionary Entrepreneur in Real Estate, and let's congratulate Austin Living and S9 Group, Mr. Hardij Rawal, co-owner and partner. Congratulations to Mr. Hardij Rawal. Let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, with me in congratulating our very well-deserving winners. Next category for the day would be Excellence in Contribution in Real Estate Commercial Titanium World Tower. Let's congratulate once again Goyal and Company, everybody. Mr. Amresh Rao, Corporate Head. He leads the sales team with a strategic mindset and unwavering dedication, consistently setting ambitious targets and driving exceptional results. Congratulations, Mr. Amresh Rao. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Inspiring Entrepreneur of the Year, National Highway Projects. Let us all congratulate Shivam Enterprise, the Managing Director, Dipensi Rai C. Chavra, everybody. With over a decade of rich experience in leading corporate roles across diverse industries such as media, automobiles, retail and telecom, Dipensi have built a strong foundation in strategic business operations and marketing leadership. Congratulations. Next category is Excellence in Land Developer of the Year. Let us congratulate Dholera Nirman Developers Private Limited, Mr. Mahendra Rajput, Director. With an impressive 12 years of experience in the real estate sector, Mr. Mahendra Rajput, founder and director of Dholera Nirman Group, has consistently demonstrated a deep understanding of land development, a strong commitment to quality, and a forward-thinking approach that embraces innovation and sustainability. Congratulations. Next category is Excellence in Budget Apartment of the Year, Orchid Valley. Let us congratulate yet once again Goyal and Company, everybody. Miss Beenal Surani, Marketing and Branding Executive, a self-driven professional with fresh ideas and a passion for execution. Congratulations. Congratulations to Goyal and Company. Next category is Excellence in Top Commercial cum Office. Let us all put our hands together for Swagat Group, Mr. Tarun Verma and Mr. Mrunal Verma. Congratulations. Next category is Pioneering in Agriculture Seed Industry, and let us congratulate Markiv Seeds Private Limited, Mr. Naresh Patel, Managing Director, Dr. P.K. Verma, Director, Researcher. Mr. Naresh Patel is the Managing Director of Markiv Seeds Private Limited, a company that develops and markets high-quality seeds. He is the second generation entrepreneur and currently leads the company. With over 25 years of experience in the seed industry, Mr. Patel has become a leader in his field. He believes in putting farmers first, providing them with the best seeds and support to grow their crops successfully. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Super Luxury Residential Project of the Year, Rivera Select. And let us all congratulate yet again Goyal and Company, everybody. The director, Mr. Karthik Goyal, the expert behind Goyal and Company Bangalore operations. He's helping the brand expand in the region and contributing to its strategic growth. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Trustworthy Brand in Real Estate, and it goes to Arvind Smart Spaces Limited. Mr. Kamal Singhal, MD and CEO, Arvind. Mr. Kamal, if he leaves, then the certificate will be collected by Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Kamal Singhal, everybody. Arvind Smart Spaces Limited. And I would request Kamal sir to please be upon stage because we have yet another category for you. And ladies and gentlemen, let us congratulate Arvind Smart Spaces Limited, Mr. Kamal Singhal, yet again for winning the title of Excellence in Township of the Year, Arvind Aqua City, with a big round of applause, everybody. Congratulations, Kamal sir. Next category of the evening would be Pioneer in Excellence Small Projects, and it goes to Himalaya Buildcon, Mr. Kamlesh Modi, Managing Director. He is in real estate business since 1992. He is the creator of Himalaya Mall Ahmedabad and Bhavnagar. He has developed retail, commercial and residential building in Gujarat. Let us all congratulate Mr. Kamlesh Modi, everybody. Congratulations. Next category would be Most Reliable Brand in Real Estate, and it goes to Vyapti Vande Mataram Infra Bill Private Limited. Let us congratulate Mr. Yogesh Bhavsar, Chairman, and Vipul Bhavsar, Managing Director, along with Hetvi Bhavsar, CEO. Vyapti Vande Mataram Group, known leading construction company in Ahmedabad, Mr. Bhavsar's sole vision and the stakeholders' commitment has brought Vyapti at this present stage. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Innovative Mall of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Swagat Group for Swagat Holiday Mall. Let us congratulate Mr. Gaurav Verma, the director, and Mr. Yaksh Verma, director as well. Can we have a big round of applause for the Swagat group, everybody? Congratulations to the Swagat group yet again. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Environmental Friendly Commercial Office E-Space Commercial Houses. And let us all congratulate yet once again Goyal and Company, everybody, the corporate head, Mr. Amrish Rao, who leads the sales team with a strategic mindset and unwavering dedication, consistently setting an ambitious targets and driving exceptional results. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Pioneer in High Quality Redevelopment Projects, and let us all congratulate the winning team, Swara Group, everybody, the chairman, Mr. Karthik Soni, with a big round of applause, who is a pioneering real estate developer and the founder and chairman of Swara Group, a company that has rapidly emerged as a leader in Ahmedabad's real estate sector. In just a few years, Karthik Soni has carved a niche in the real estate sector with his innovative mindset and dedication to quality. Karthik Soni's journey is an inspiring story as Swara Group continues to grow his vision. Congratulations. The next category for the evening is Excellence in Luxury Project of the Year, Rivera Woods. Let us all congratulate yet once again Goyal and Company, Mr. Amrish Rao, the corporate head. He leads the sales team with a strategic mindset and unwavering dedication, consistently setting ambitious targets and driving exceptional results. Congratulations yet again. Let us have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Goyal and Company. Next category is Pioneer in Diaphragm Wall. Let us congratulate Heritage Infraspace, Mr. Gagan Goswami, founder and managing director, with a big round of applause. Congratulations. Next category is Excellence in Healthcare, and it goes to Lincoln Pharmaceuticals Limited, Mr. Munjal Patel, the director of the company. Lincoln Pharmaceuticals Limited is one of the leading healthcare companies in Gujarat. Established back in the year 1979, the company develops and manufactures affordable and innovative medicines for healthier lives. The company has developed 600 plus formulations in 15 therapeutic areas. It has over 1700 registered products and another 700 in the pipeline. Congratulations. Next category is Excellence in Tiles, Marble, Quartz and Growing Bathware brand, and it goes to Asian Granito India Limited. Let us congratulate the director, Mr. Bhavesh Patel, and associate director, Mr. Hiren Patel. Established back in the year 2000, Asian Granito India Limited has emerged as India's leading luxury surfaces and bathware solutions brand. The company has 14 state-of-the-art manufacturing units spread across Gujarat. The company also exports to more than 100 countries. Headquartered in Ahmedabad, AGL is listed on NSE and BSE and reported net consolidated turnover of INR 1,530 crores in FY 2024. Congratulations. Next category for the evening is Excellence in Plot Developer of the Year, and let's congratulate Goyal and Company yet again, the director, Mr. Anshul Goyal, everybody. Anshul leads the Plotted Projects division, overseeing development and execution to build a community and better investment opportunities through land. Congratulations. Next up is Excellence in Marketing Campaign of the Year by Land Bro, and it goes to, any guesses? Yet again, Goyal and Company, put your hands together with me in welcoming Ms. Beenal Surani, Marketing and Branding Executive, with a big round of applause. Congratulations. Next category is Excellence in Seed Quality, and it goes to Nidhi Seeds, Ankur Bhai, Karala, Hitesh Bhai, Zakania. Nidhi Seeds is involved in deep research, development, production, processing and marketing of seeds for Indian and abroad farming community. Let us all put our hands together for Nidhi Seeds. Congratulations, guys. Next category is Excellence in Communication Consultancy. This is the last category of the evening. And it goes to DSNN Consultancy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put our hands together for partner consultant, Mr. Shekhar Singh. Representing DSNN Consultancy, who's also having over 2 decades of experience in communication consultancy, assisting clients across sectors to reach out to target audience. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I would request Minister to please step on stage. Thank you so much for joining us for the evening. We are so delighted to have you with us. And it was a pleasure to have you. And now for the token of appreciation, I would request Mukta Rawal to please come upon stage and felicitate sir. With a token of appreciation. Can we have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much to our Honorable Minister for joining us tonight. And our star of the evening, Miss Mahima Chaudhary as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a delight. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much. So, thank you, ma'am. You may please get back to your seats. And can we have a big round of applause for our guests who have joined tonight? Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving back to yet another amazing, very insightful panel discussion, which is all about Gujarat being... So, ladies and gentlemen, Gujarat has long been at the forefront of India's growth narrative, powered by visionary leadership, a strong entrepreneurial spirit, and a forward-looking economy. But at the heart of this transformation lies a sector that often shapes the very skyline of progress: real estate. Yes, you heard it right. In this session, we deep dive into the critical role real estate plays in Gujarat's ongoing growth story and how it can be a catalyst for even greater urban innovation, investment, and global competitiveness. Joining us on stage are Mr. Narendra Patel, Chairman, Sun Builders Group, a 45-year experienced real estate developer with excellent track record in having urban planning post-graduation from CEPT University. Member of existing Gujarat State Urban Committee, President of Institute of Town Planners India, a 1951 Apex professional, 9,000 plus qualified town planners from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Kutch to Kaziranga. Presently Chairman, NARED Company Gujarat. He has also authored 4 books on town planning. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome him with a big round of applause. Introducing you all to Mr. Lalit Parihar, Founder and Managing Director, IG Group. He is the visionary Managing Director of IG Group, one of the most dynamic and trusted names in the real estate and infrastructure sector. With over 16 years of experience, Mr. Parihar has a visionary approach and strong industry expertise. He continues to set benchmarks in urban development. Let us all welcome him with a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing you all to Mr. Tarun Verma, MD, Swagat Group. The flagship started journey in 1970 under visionary leadership of late Shri Santram Das Verma, former chairman, Mr. Tarun Verma, the current MD, visualized creating a future in the real estate industry, and that led to the birth of the Swagat Group. His technical expertise, excellent knowledge, and extensive cross-functional proficiency have led to the unprecedented growth of the Swagat Group. He continues to raise the bar in the real estate development, where residencies, retail and commercial centers, workspaces all come together. Under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Tarun Verma, Swagat Group has led to the creation of various landmark projects. Each project is made with innovation, exclusivity, and unparalleled quality. Put your hands together with me in welcoming him, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing you all to yet another speaker of the night, Mr. Hardij Rawal, partner of Austin Group. Professional background: he started career as a banker and transitioned to the real estate sector in 2009, where he has since completed over 45 commercial, residential and industrial projects. In addition to this real estate expertise, Mr. Rawal has also gained experience in several other industries, including export and import, education. So ladies and gentlemen, let us all put our hands together with me in welcoming him. And last but not the least, let us all welcome yet once again on stage moderator Kalpana. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And now that the award ceremony is done, we can move on to the last panel of the day, of the evening. We have spoken about health, we have spoken about education. How can we not talk about real estate? And with some biggies sitting here who've been awarded this evening, I am sure this is a very power-packed and an interesting conversation. This is going to be an interesting conversation. Mr. Patel, I would like to start with you. You've seen Gujarat's skyline evolve over decades. And what, according to you, are the top drivers today responsible for it?
Basically, when Gujarat and Maharashtra incorporated in 1960, so Gujarat took a special role, particularly in industry, trade and businesses. If we see in 70s or 80s, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, that corridor was very much popular as a golden corridor. If you see Amul, then Baroda, having number of the public sector companies, similarly Bharuch, Ankleshwar, Vapi, Valsad. This is the driving factor. Second thing, we had excellent micro land management system. So through this system, we are getting service urban land through town planning scheme. Third, as usual, the business community has a direct rapport with the government. And due to that, you can see number of the things has come out in the past for pro-real estate business. And finally, from a people's leader, a non-profit organization, the businessman, all have one thing which is exclusively in Gujarat. That is a Mahajan tradition. When somebody had a success and he becomes Mahajan from Jan, so he give back to the society. So here, all the industrialists, they had any type of charity. It may be a religious, a social, educational. So this create an excellent environment, right? Which in bracket there is a safety, there is a security, number of blah 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 things are there. But this environment has took very up the Gujarat economy, and due to that, the Gujarat real estate. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very interesting. We'll come back to you with another question. Mr. Lalit, मेरा next question आपसे होगा. गुजरात में इनोवेटिव डेवलपमेंट का लीडरशिप करते हुए आप रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर को कैसे इवॉल्व होते हुए देखते हैं?
बात करें अगर ग्लोबल लेवल पर गुजरात की, तो मैं गुजरात को ना दुबई, शारजहां और आबू धाबी के बेस पर डेवलप होते हुए देख रहा हूँ आज के तारीख में. आपने देखा होगा दुबई में 2 एयरपोर्ट है, आबू धाबी में एक एयरपोर्ट नया बना है, वैसे एक धोलेरा में भी नया एयरपोर्ट बनाया गया है. तो आने वाला टाइम न कि गुजरात के लिए, न कि गुजरात के लोगों के लिए, बल्कि गुजरात में 2 मिलियन न्यू पीपल आने वाले हैं, आने वाले 10 सालों में ही देखने को मिलने वाला है। क्योंकि जिस तरीके से इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन हो रहा है, सेमीकंडक्टर, लोथल का डेवलपमेंट, उसके बाद आप गिफ्ट सिटी ले लीजिए, तो पूरी दुनिया गुजरात की तरफ देख रही है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये बहुत ही अच्छा टाइम भी है हम सब के लिए काम करने के लिए, और क्वांटिटी नहीं क्वालिटी काम हमें करके देना चाहिए, उस पर हमें ध्यान देना चाहिए। एज ए आईजी ग्रुप हम 3 V's पे अभी काम कर रहे हैं, विजन, वेलोसिटी एंड वैल्यू। तो इन सब को साथ लेते हुए और हमारा इसको फ्यूचर को देखते हुए जो लोग यहाँ पर आने वाले हैं ना, जो नॉर्थ इंडियन, साउथ इंडियन, एनआरआईज सारे ही गुजरात की तरफ देख रहे हैं, ये हमें देखने को मिल रहा है। अभी जो कैंपेनिंग आप देखोगे ना, तो कई सारे लोग वापस गुजरात की तरफ मूव कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि अडॉप्ट जल्दी करता है ना गुजरात लोगों को। तो ये सबसे बड़ा कदम है, तो हम इस पे अभी काम कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू।
Mr. Tarun, I would like you to add something to what Mr. Lalit said. That, what can we do to make Gujarat an attractive real estate destination compared to other states?
Yeah, hello everyone. गुजरात ऑलरेडी अट्रैक्टेड ही है, इवन ऑल इन्वेस्टर्स जो आउटसाइड गुजरात के हैं और इवन जो एनआरआई हैं इंडिया के बाहर, तो गुजरात पहले से ही गुजरात का हमेशा एक अट्रैक्शन रहा है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे प्रॉपर्टी के दाम रिजनेबल है कंपेयर टू अदर सिटीज़ लाइक बॉम्बे, बेंगलोर, दिल्ली। तो जो भी लोगों ने यहाँ पे इन्वेस्ट किया है उनको रिटर्न बहुत अच्छा मिला है। तो एक ये रीज़न है। दूसरा, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो गुजरात का है वो इंडिया के हर स्टेट से मतलब आप कंपेयर करेंगे तो आपको बेहतर मिलेगा। और जब से मतलब रेरा आया है उससे पहले से यहाँ के जो डेवलपर थे वो रेरा के रूल रेगुलेशन मतलब अपने आप ही फॉलो करते थे, एक रूल रेगुलेशन से ही काम करते थे। तो जो भी बाहर के इन्वेस्टर हैं उनको यहाँ सेफ्टी फील होती है गुजरात में। तो हमेशा बाहर से एक इन्वेस्टमेंट गुजरात में आता रहा है। तो और जिस तरह से गवर्नमेंट ने गिफ्ट सिटी, धोलेरा स्मार्ट सिटी और ये सब प्रोजेक्ट जो लॉन्च किए हैं, इसके हिसाब से फ्यूचर में और भी एमएनसी कंपनीज अपनी ऑफिसेज यहाँ गुजरात में करेगी। तो मतलब माइग्रेशन जो गुजरात में आज की डेट में उससे ज़्यादा और बढ़ेगा। तो प्रॉपर्टी के दाम भी और यहाँ पे अच्छा एप्रिसिएशन मिलेगा, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑलरेडी अच्छा है उसका भी एक बेनिफिट मिलेगा।
That's very interesting. आप तीनों के आंसर्स में एक चीज़ बहुत कॉमन थी, which was values and trust. I think that's what makes Gujarat stand out. So,
बट मैम इसमें एक ऐड करने जैसी बात है कि जो गुजरात के GDCR की बात करें और जो होने वाला है आने वाले 10 सालों में जो हमें नज़र आ रहा है, उसको देखते हुए मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि गुजरात के GDCR को भी अपडेट करने की ज़रूरत है एवरी 2 ईयर 3 ईयर। क्योंकि यहाँ के लोग रहते हैं, हम लोग जो रह रहे हैं, हमें पता है कि क्या पॉपुलेशन आने वाली है, लेकिन जो बाहर से माइग्रेट हो रहा है, जो सर आपने अभी बोला, उसको देखते हुए मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि GDCR को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अपडेट करने की ज़रूरत है और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग को देखते हुए उसको करने की ज़रूरत है। क्योंकि देखिए ना, आप सब कुछ मैन्युफैक्चर कर सकते हैं लेकिन लैंड कभी मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं होती। तो उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए गवर्नमेंट को इसको और अपडेट करना चाहिए टाइम टू टाइम।
That's a very valid point. Mr. Hardij, my next question would be to you. How are real estate players like Austin Group, like yours, integrating sustainability and smart urban planning in newer developments?
Hi everyone, good evening. I put it this way, infrastructure leads growth or growth leads infrastructure. This is always a debatable segment. But when you see this question comes to Gujarat story, this actually complement each other, because Gujarat got developed because of lot many industries, then it leads to infrastructure, and then infrastructure again leads to that growth. If you typically we see that, as Mr. Verma said very rightly, from my point of view, the migration is the major contributor for real estate. I put it this way, last 2 decades, starting from 2005 to 2015 and then 15 to 25. So typically that 2005 to 15 was the major industry contributor where chemical or pharma, wherein the real migration came from that particular industry, wherein the real estate has grown very well. But after 2015, when it comes to IT migration, so the people are working in IT segment, migrate a lot in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, digital segment. You can say digitalized industry, and especially this healthcare and nowadays education also. So this second phase was a very heavy contributor of real estate in Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar because the migration was extremely high and lot of other connected segment also. Let's say as a Austin, as you said, as you asked for how it is sustainability, but I think because of this growth story, it is from the sustainability to scalability also. And as a Austin group, we are apart from the real estate project like residential, commercial, and this industrial project, we are since last 1 year or so, we are also looking for some alternate real estate program like co-living, co-working. So in our routine word, we say co-living is all about PG segment. So this has been increasing very drastically. Since last 10 years, in Ahmedabad itself, there are more than 200 standalone buildings are there, which are operating for co-living kind of thing. Because the concept called startup business is also developing. People are coming from IT segment, they are staying here, I'll take it that way. In early 90s or 2000, to buy a home was always the biggest dream. And that comes after 40, 45 or 50 years. But nowadays, if you see, the people are working because their scales are high, their earnings are high. So nowadays, the youngsters are looking for home at the age of 30. Maybe sir can add on rightly to, because we all are into affordable segment and this luxury segment. But nowadays, that is increasing very highly. Beyond that, we are also looking for not only residential, not only co-living and co-working, we are also looking for something like senior citizen living also, which is also expected to grow. So this kind of alternate real estate program that we thought this can contribute very well to the Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar segment. Yeah.
That's interesting. Mr. Patel, I would like to understand, I mean, we all, heard the version that, where we are heading. Where do you see Ahmedabad in the coming 5 years?
We are talking about Vision 2030. So basically, if we see in last 5-7 years, not Ahmedabad, but I will talk about Ahmedabad region. You have seen that DMIC, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, which is to be operated within a year or two. Second is Dholera Special Investment Region with an airport, where Microchip and other companies are coming. Third is various other SIR like Becharaji and Sanand SIR, where number of the companies are coming up, and there is another Microchip plant is also coming at Sanand also. Fourth is a GIFT City, so International Finance Tech City. So it has took a momentum in last 1 to 1.5 years. Fifth is a high-speed rail corridor, that is a bullet train. So with less than 2 hours, you can reach the Mumbai. So after bullet train, one cake shop wala can supply his shop to Bandra Kurla complex. He will get the order on a WhatsApp and within 2 hours he can supply. So these are all are the positive factor. And in Gujarat, there are a number of the government policy. If you talk about a township policy, then you talk about redevelopment policy of housing board, or you talk about hotel and hospitality policy, or tall building policy. So all the approach, particularly last 4-5 years, is also pro-industry. So in that case, I think, and as rightly Tarun has told that, we are cheaper than Nasik, we are cheaper than Udaipur, we are cheaper than Meerut. I don't talk about other big cities, but in that case, the prices will go up. And migration, why the people are migrating to Ahmedabad? So first is the employment. You have to generate the employment. So as I just told you about this 5-6 point, which all are the employment generator, and due to that, something in real estate, the speed will be minimum more than double. Thank you.
Interesting. And before we end, we are running out of time, but I would love to know that one big shift that you see in the real estate. Koi ek in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. I'll take it this way. As everyone has mentioned, almost Dholera and everything, which is definitely a coming one. But as we all are expecting some big shift like Commonwealth Games or maybe Olympic, we are always talking about this. So I think this can lead real estate story of Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar in a next level. And I feel the next decade, from 25 to 35, I feel it is going to be a iconic Ahmedabad maybe.
Lovely way to end. Would you like to add something?
I agree with you.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And thank you all of you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to the entire panel for the wonderful insights. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, are we really coming to an end? All right. So, let me tell you, firstly, let us congratulate all the very, very well-deserving winners. Harriest congratulations to all of you. So, this initiative is supported by our esteemed partners, banking partners, ADC Bank, GSE Bank, and luxury partner Kia, Supernova Kia. As we come close to the end of this splendid evening, we are reminded once again that Gujarat's true strength lies in its visionaries, the leaders, innovators, and change makers who continue to shape a brighter tomorrow. Thank you to all of you, our esteemed guests, speakers, awardees, and the partners for being the part of this TimesNow.in Radiant Gujarat Visionary Leaders 2025. Your presence, insights, and achievements have truly made the event a celebration of excellence, resilience, and hope. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us all carry forward the spirit of innovation, collaboration, and leadership that we have witnessed here today and continue to build a radiant Gujarat for all the generations to come. With this, I, Anchor Roma, sign off. Thank you. See you all next year.